Okay. Okay, now it is text 25, 26. I'll just read the translation and purport. Then we'll read the 27 in detail. Text 25. The 10 sons of Maharaj Priyavrata were named Agnidhra, Idmajiva, Yajnabahu, Mahavira, Haranyaretha, Grhatprastha, Savana, Medatihi, Titi, Vitihotra, and Kavi. There are also named Agni, fire god. They were also named Agni. So there's no purport. We'll next sloka. The three among the 10, namely Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana, lived in complete celibacy, thus trained in brahmachari life from the beginning of childhood. They were very conversant with the highest perfection known as the Paramahamsa Ashrama. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport. The word Urdhva Retasa on this verse is very significant. Urdhva Retaha refers to one who can control sex life and who, instead of wasting semen by discharging it, can use this most important substance accumulated in the body to enable the brain. One can completely control sex life by able to work. His life is able to work wonderfully with his brain, especially in remembering. Thus, students who simply hear Vedic instructions once from their teacher could remember them verbatim without needing to read books, which therefore did not exist in former times. Another significant word is Arbha Bhavata, which means from very childhood. Another meaning is from being very affectionate to children. In other words, Parahamsa life is dedicated for the benefit of others. Just as a father sacrifices many things out of affection for his son, a great saintly person sacrifices all kinds of bodily comfort for the benefit of the human society. In this connection, there is a verse concerning the 6 Goswamis. Tyaktar Turvam Ashesha Mandala Pati Shreninam Sadha Tuchate Bhutva Dina Ganeshakto Karmaya Kaupin Kanthastirthu. Because of their compassion for the poor fallen souls, the 6 Goswamis gave up their exalted position as ministers and took vow as mendicants, thus minimizing their bodily wants as far as possible. They each accepted only a loincloth with the begging bowl. Thus, they remained in Vrindavan to execute the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by compiling and publishing various Vaishnava literature. Text 27, we'll read. Text 27. Tasmin Vuhava Upasam Srila Paramarshaya Sakala Jiva Nishkayavasya Bhagavato Bhavena Paribhavitantara Hridaya Gacchite Bhagavati Sarvesham Bhutanam Hridaya Gacchite Bhagavati Sarvesha Bhutanam Atma Bhute Pratyag Atmani Eva evatmanasya tadatmayah avisheshanam samihuhu. Synonyms. Tasmin, in that Paramahamsa ashrama, you certainly are so celebrated. Wa, indeed. Upashama Srila, in the renounced order of life. Parama Shreha, the great sages. Sakala, all jiva of living entities. Nikhaya, in total. Avashaya, Avashasya, the residents. Bhagavata, of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Vasudevasya, the Lord Vasudeva. Bithanam, of those afraid of material existence. Sharana Bhutasya, the one who is the only shelter. Srimat, of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Charana Ravinda, the lotus feet. Avirata, constantly. Smarana, remembering. Avigalita, completely uncontaminated. Parama, supreme Bhakti Yoga, of mystic devotional service. Anubhavena, by prowess. Paribhavita, purified. Antaha, within. Hridya, the heart. Adigate, perceived. Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality Godhead. Sarvesham, of all. Bhuthanam, the living entities. Atma Bhute, situated within the body. Pratyak, directly. Atmani, with the Supreme Super Soul. Eva, certainly. Atmanaha, of the self. Tadhatmyaha, the qualitative equality. Avisheshana, without differences. Samiyuhu, realized. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We'll just read the purport. Wherever some points are there, we'll try to discuss. Srila Prabhupada has given a very, very elaborate purport. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militamena Tasme Shri Guruve Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once again, begging mercy from all the assembled devotees here. Please shower your mercy so that I can speak few words. Vancha kalpatarubhesya kripa sindhu bhevacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Also thanking His Grace Sankarshan Prabhu and team for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Translation. They're situated in the renounced order from the beginning of their lives. All the three of them completely controlled activities of their senses and thus became great saints. They concentrated their minds always upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is resting place of the totality of living entities and who is therefore celebrated as Vasudeva. The Lord Vasudeva is the only shelter of those who are actually afraid of material existence. By the constantly thinking of the lotus feet, of his lotus feet, between themselves and him. So the activities of Priyavrata and his three sons being glorified here. How nicely these three sons are, as a renounced order, has perfected their life. So here translation, few points we can discuss, then we'll move on to the purport. So first and foremost point is has completely controlled activities of senses and thus became great saints. So Srila Prabhupada also many times emphasized the activities of their senses, because when we discuss this is for me or, so how we have to manage or control our senses is the most important point here mentions. Because of that, so many the defects in our life can be controlled by managing or controlling the senses. So these three sons of Priyavrata, they control the senses. And, Srila Prabhupada says we should not become Godasa, we should become Goswami. So we should control the senses, not get surrendered to, senses. Further, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the translation goes like this, Lord Vasudeva is the only shelter of those who are actually afraid of material existence. This is another important point. Many times Srila Prabhupada said that my disciples are not afraid of material world or Maya, because if you are really afraid, we will definitely surrender to Supreme Lord. So here, translation says that Lord Vasudeva is the only shelter for those who are actually afraid of material existence. So once we are really afraid of the material life, the material world, which is full of miseries and always is day by day deteriorating. We can see today's world, how the world is getting deteriorated day by day. And unless we are really afraid of it, really, what is going to come in future is very, very dangerous as far as our spiritual life is concerned. Unless we surrender and take up the right action now, we will end up in a more dangerous situation. Sometimes we console ourselves saying that we have to balance a material life, we have to a spiritual life. All those things are there. But one of the lectures, Grace Harilala Prabhu says, there is no question for a practicing devotee, there is no question of balancing between spiritual life and material life. Because for practicing devotees, only spiritual life, there is no material life. Because whatever it does, it looks like, externally looks like material, but it's not material, it is spiritual. So you don't have to balance. You have to focus on spirituality. The material life will follow. We don't have to practice material life. That's the point. So unless we are really afraid and, take right action is to surrender to Supreme Lord Vasudeva. And finally, in the translation says, realize that there was equality, qualitatively no difference between themselves and him. So we know that all the qualities of Supreme Lord is with us. We are qualities there, but not in quantity. So here, that qualitatively no difference. In actually the third canto, I think 13th chapter or 16th chapter, one of the purpose Srila Prabhupada writes, actually by serving the Vaishnavas, we can please Supreme Lord. And to the extent Prabhupada writes that actually serving pure Vaishnava is better than serving Supreme Lord, he says, more potent, he writes. So actually, we don't have to, kind of serve Supreme Lord. If we are able to serve the pure devotees amongst us, that is the best thing is enough. That's why here it says there was no qualitative, no difference between themselves and him. Means, so they realize that once we reach that level, there is no much difference because pure devotees always considered equal to Supreme Lord. So, purport. The Paramahamsa stage is a topmost position is renounced life. Sannyasa, the renounced order, there are 4 stages: Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parvichakacharya, and Paramahamsa. According to Vedic system, when one accepts the renounced order, he stays outside his village in a cottage, and his necessities, especially his food, are supplied from home. This is called Kutichaka stage. So here Prabhupada is saying that as a one who planning to take sannyasa, or after grahastha, this stages of vanaprastha and move on to sannyasa. The first stage is Kutichaka. He comes out from the house and stays very close to the house because still he has got attachment to the house, and he has not fully surrendered because still he has to depend on his food and other day-to-day needs from the house. From there, then Prabhupada writes, when a sannyasi advances further, he no longer accepts anything from home. Instead, he collects his necessities, especially his food, from many places. This system is called Madhukari, which is literally means the profession of bumblebees. As bumblebees collect honey from many flowers, little from each. So sannyasis, they should beg from door to door, but not accept very much food from any particular house. He should collect a little bit from every house. This is called Bahudaka stage. Okay, so I stop. So here, Prabhupada says next stage, Kutichaka moves to Bahudaka stage, where he does more Madhukari. He doesn't accept food from home. Instead of that, he goes to Madhukari, house to house. And again, Prabhupada says that don't accept too much, accept as little as possible. Like I know many sannyasis in Vrindavan, they go to 3 houses in the morning. That's it. Whatever get in the 3 houses, that is their full day's meal. That's it. They will not ask anything more. So this is the stage of Bahudaka stage. Next, Srila Prabhupada writes here, when a sannyasi is still more experienced, he travels all over the world to preach the glories of the Lord Vasudeva. He is then known as a Parvikacharya. So the next level, he even stops Madhukari. He just travels, preaching. And there, whatever gets on the process, he eats. Otherwise, he fully depend on Krishna. Next, Prabhupada writes here, sannyasi reaches the Paramhamsa stage when he finishes his preaching work and he sits down in one place strictly for the sake of advancing in spiritual life. An actual Paramhamsa is one who completely controls his senses and engages in the unalloyed service of the Lord. Here again, Prabhupada brings here how our senses are most important. To reach that level, controlling the senses is the most important. Further, Prabhupada further writes, therefore, all 3 of these sons of Priyavrata, namely Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana, were situated in the Paramhamsa stage from the very beginning. Their senses could not disturb them, for their senses were completely engaged in serving the Lord. Therefore, 3 brothers are described in this verse as Upashama Shilha. Upashama means completely subdued. Because they completely subdued their senses, they are understood to have been great sages and saints. After subduing the senses, 3 brothers concentrated their minds upon lotus feet of Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, as stated in Bhagavata 7.90, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. The lotus feet of Vasudeva is everything. The Lord Vasudeva is reservoir of all living entities. When this cosmic manifestation is dissolved, all living entities enter supreme body of the Lord, Garbhodakaya Vishnu, who merges within the body of Mahavishnu. Both of these Vishnu Tattvas are Vasudeva Tattvas, and therefore the great sages Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana concentrated always upon the lotus feet of the Lord Vasudeva. Krishna, in this way, they could understand that the super soul within the heart of this heart is the Supreme Personality Godhead. And they could recognize their identity with him. The complete description of this realization is that simply by discharging unalloyed form of devotional service, one can realize his self completely. The Parama Bhakti Yoga mentioned in this verse means that living entity, by dint of unalloyed devotional service, has no other interest than service of the Lord, as described in Bhagavad-gita, Vasudeva Sarvamiti 7.19. By Parama Bhakti Yoga, by elevating oneself to the highest platform of loving service, one can automatically be relieved from the bodily concept of life and see the Supreme Personality Godhead face to face. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadhaiva Radheshu Vilokayanti Yam Sham Shundharam Achintya Guna Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. I worship Govinda in the primeval Lord, who is Sham Sundara, Krishna himself within the inconceivable, innumerable attributes, who the pure devotees see in their heart within the with the eyes of devotion tinged with the salve of love. An advanced devotee who is known as Sat or Saint can always see within the heart of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Face to face, Krishna, Syam Sundara, expands himself, his plenary portion, and thus a devotee can always see him within the heart. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, wonderful purport. We'll try to discuss a few more points from this. Okay. So many points Srila Prabhupada brings out in this purport. Of course, as we discussed, the first and foremost point is the sense control, how the three sons of Priyavrata controlled their senses. So we'll try to discuss one pastime from Chaitanya Lila, how Sripad Ramanandaraya was controlled the senses, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself recognized, and we'll try to discuss one or two other pastimes from the here, how the different stages Srila Prabhupada mentions here from Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parvichakacharya, and Paramhamsa. Even one example from Chaitanya Lila, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, how he has kind of renounced everything. So first we'll start from how Srila Ramananda Rai, who was none other than Arjuna in the Krishna Lila, where he in Chaitanya Lila, he, even though kind of externally looks like doing the material work, he was a governor. That's what Prabhupada says here. He was fully looks like engrossed in material work, like as a governor managing, sitting in, when Godavari, when he comes in a palanquin, but if you see internally, he was fully surrendered to Supreme Lord, and actually Supreme Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanted to hear from him. In Bhagavata, Krishna speaks and Arjuna hears. Here, Arjuna speaks, Krishna hears, because Ramananda Rai is speaking, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Ramananda Rai, please tell me more. He is hearing from Ramananda Rai. So that is how, Sripad Ramananda Rai is so glorious. So here, as mentioned earlier, in our material life also, sometimes the devotee may look like he's doing materialistic work, but the heart of heart is fully surrendered to Supreme Lord, and he is whatever there he does for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord. So here, Ramananda Rai's pastime is that, so in Chaitanya Lila, Ante Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita Ante Lila, chapter 5, it says, Ekadina Pradyumna Mishra Prabhura Charane Dandavata Kari Kichu Kare Nivedana. One day, Pradyumna Mishra came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, offering his respect and inquiring from him with a great submission. So Pradyumna Mishra comes to Mahaprabhu and requests, he says that, Mahaprabhu, he says, I want to hear Krishna Katha. So I want, please, speak Krishna Katha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe na Krishna Katha ami nahi jani, sab Ramananda jane, tandra mukhe suni. He says, I don't know anything about Krishna Katha. He says, about topic of Krishna, I think only Ramananda Rai knows, for I hear those topics from him. So, as mentioned earlier, he says, I heard from Ramananda Rai. So I don't know anything about Krishna. I mean, of course, Supreme Lord Krishna himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that I don't know anything. So he says, Pradyumna Mishra, you better go to Ramananda Rai and ask him. He will narrate something for you. So that's how, Pradyumna Mishra was directed to Ramananda Rai. Pradyumna Mishra comes to Ramananda Rai. He could not see Ramananda Rai. So asked servant, where is Ramananda Rai? Servant says Ramananda Rai is busy inside, teaching some of the girls, some dance, and he is serving those girls, beautiful girls, young girls. So he personally serving them, personally helping them, personally dressing them, personally giving them bath. And this is what, when Ramananda, this Padimna Mishra sees, he was bewildered. Here says, Sri Ramananda Rai has taken these two girls to a solitarity place in his garden, where he is teaching and directing them to dance according to the songs he composed for his drama. How he personally does. Then with his own hands, Ramananda Rai massaged the bodies of the bodies with oil and bathed them with the water. Indeed, Ramananda cleansed the entire bodies with his own hand. This is what Ramananda Rai does. Padimna Mishra is bewildered. How come, he's such a great person. How can he have such association with the young girls? So he bewildered, and he comes back to Mahaprabhu, and he inquires from Mahaprabhu, what is happening? Mahaprabhu says, Padimna Mishra, even if I see a doll of a woman, I will get confused. But Ramananda Rai is not bewildered. He's not, agitated. So he is such a great personality. So better go to him and hear from him. So Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms Ramananda Rai's status. So this is how the sense control is given importance here. How, of course, all these pastimes are not meant for imitations. We should not try to imitate. This is the level of Sripad Ramananda Rai. But the lesson we have learned is that, how we should control the senses. And that control senses only will take us to the next level. Otherwise, we may not be able to, upgrade ourselves. Prabhupada writes here, the pretty good control. Just see the contrast between Ramananda Rai and Shobari Muni. Shobari Muni was so powerful, austere. What a yogi. Can you imagine? But what happens? Shobari Muni, just seeing the two fishes meeting, he got confused. He came back and asked for marriage, and he engrossed in that marriage life. So the difference between Ramananda Rai and Shobari Muni is given. And of course, Prabhupada many times gives example of Haridas Thakur and Vishwamitra, how they were control the senses. So like that, so many pastimes are there. Now we'll come back to how the different levels of renunciation, in the what mentioned here. So one example is Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Goswami, like, here Prabhupada mentions different levels, Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parvikacharya, and Paramhamsa. But of course, Raghunath Goswami is already, very advanced stage. But for externally, how he shows us to renounce, the life of Raghunath. He was born in a very, very rich, very opulent family. Those days mentioned maybe 8 lakh gold coins, their income, his parents, both Majumdar family. So Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. So they were so rich. But whereas Raghunath as a boy was not interested in any of this material, opulences. To attract him more, parents got him married to a beautiful lady. But somehow Raghunath wanted to get out and go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first he meets in Advaita's house and he sends him back. Second time also, he says, go and serve your parents. And at that time he says, don't show your Markata Vairagya. Says that don't externally you be materialistic, but internally you be a fully realized person. Like here, three sons of Priyavrata, they realized the Supreme Lord from the heart. So that is a lesson given here. We should realize it. But externally, if I show off, is doesn't going to affect much for me. But I would realize it. Realize the behavior shows in my life, my actions, my words, because that's what Raghunath Goswami so asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You go and serve, you do your business, you help your parents, do your business, and but internally serve me. So that's how, like Mahaprabhu gives example of how monkey is externally, shows fully renounced, like doesn't wear anything, stays in trees, but internally is fully into sense gratification. He's looking for female monkeys every now and then. So he says it should not be like that, should be opposite. Internally fully renounced, externally show the world. So as a practicing devotees also, many times we do our work in corporate world, other business, to outside world, they also look like materialistic. But Prabhupada says there is a vast difference between a devotee working in outside and other non-devotee or karmi is working. Because the purpose of the devotee is working, how that the result is given to Krishna. And also each and every moment he thinks, how can I use this opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord? Maybe a devotee goes to the corporate office, he uses preaching effect, either book distribution. We know so many examples here in our congregation, how nicely they use their corporate connections, either for book distribution or collecting donations, or so many ways they do that. I mean, that is how the real devotee does that. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada says that a devotee, when he work outside, he should be extremely good. It should be 100% give effect, because devotee becomes lazy. The people may say that because he become devotee, he become lazy, he doesn't do performance. Because in our material performance also, we should give a 100% effect. 100% result we should give. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Raghunath, go back. Again, here Raghunath was not satisfied in the material work. He wanted to come back. Of course, we know then Panihatti festival, how he ran from the house and surrendered Nityananda Prabhu. And later, this kind of a mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he could meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when we reached Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put him under I think it's at I think I'm not sure with whom. Anyway, so there Raghunath Swarup Damodar, Swarup Damodar, under Swarup Damodar, and there he was serving. But how renounced he was. Initially, he used to beg in the alms and eat from there. After some time, he stopped begging also. He started thinking that, it's like a prostitute. Because if somebody will come and give me, I'm waiting, somebody to give. He stopped that. And then he started going to the place where the waste grain been thrown. From there, he will take some grains, wash, and eat that only with the mix of some salt. This was going on for a few days. One day, Mahaprabhu asked Swarup Damodar, where is your Raghunath? What is eating? How is, surviving? Then Swarup Damodar said, the story here, Raghunath is eating that grain. Even not cows will eat. Such a grain he collects and washes and eats. So Mahaprabhu comes there and asks Raghunath, hey Raghunath, I heard that you're eating nice feast every day. Where is that? Why you're not giving me? So Raghunath was ashamed. How can I, even forget giving? How can you show this to Mahaprabhu? But Mahaprabhu grabs and started eating. Of course, later Raghunath, the Swarup Damodar stopped him further. So, but the point is that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased with the Raghunath Goswami's advanced renunciation. How is fully renounced one by one, stage by stage. Of course, again, I'm repeating, we should not try to imitate, but we should try to take lessons and try to practice on life, stage by stage, step by step, we should practice, but a sincere endeavor has to happen. At the same time, we cannot say that I will not imitate, I will not do anything. That's not going to work. I should do a sincere, step. Action has to be taken. Because we start renouncing the materialistic, so like Prabhupada says, unless we are really afraid of material things, we cannot surrender to Supreme Lord. So unless we really want to afraid, means we have to definitely want to surrender to Supreme Lord. So that is the point here. So as a practicing devotees, all of us has to take the step towards the renunciation, step towards the next level. That doesn't mean that we should give up our family life. Within the family life itself, Prabhupada has given a very nice, process. All of us can do that nicely. We can plan it nicely, plan our finance nicely, plan our, business nicely, such a way that we get sufficient time for practicing, at the same time preaching. So that is the level we should progress, and certainly after some time we can move further. So how Raghunath Goswami was so renounced, Prabhupada writes, Raghunath Goswami gradually stopped eating solid food and survived only half leaf a bowl of buttermilk a day. He would offer 1,000 obeisances to the Radha Krishna and chant 1,00,000 names of Krishna, constantly offer mental worship to Radha Krishna every day. He lived on the bank of Radha Kunda, bathed there 3 times daily. In this way, Raghunath Goswami engaged in service of their lordship 24 hours in a day, sleeping only an hour and a half, if at all. Such were the extremely high standard of devotional service that would be the inspiration for generation of devotees of Lord Krishna. So this is the highest standard Sri Raghunath Goswami has set. But again, as text mentions here, that we have to move step further, like from Kutichaka, Bahudaka, and Parvikacharya and Paramhamsa. So we don't have to worry too much which stage I am there, because sometimes we get confused and I may think that I'm reached that level. No, that's not my my purpose. I should not get into that, but I should take the step that how do I gradually renounce material things, gradually progress further. Then only, like Prabhupada quotes here, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that is the ultimate, because Bahuna Janmana Ante Jnanavan Ma Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So Lord Krishna says here, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So that Mahatma is Sudurlabha, that great soul is Sudurlabha, but we have to endeavor that. So Prabhupada says, in the body of living being, neither power to speak, nor power to see, not power to hear, nor power to think is the prime factor. It is the life which is the center of all activities. So what I speak, what I do, what my thinking, as what I hear, is all depends on the super soul within us. Unless I serve, unless I worship that Vasudeva, my thinking, my speaking, my actions may not be as pleasing to Supreme Lord. So my service to Supreme Lord, keeping center in the Krishna's in center, that is a life that's and understand that when I really realize that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, I should realize that Vasudeva is the Sarvam. Whatever I do, like says that whatever pleasing to Krishna, do it. whatever not pleasing, don't do it. So, that is a mood in which if I take it, then the millions of people there in the society. But after many, many lives, we have got this human body. This human body has to be used for the right purpose. That purpose is to surrender to Supreme Lord Vasudeva. That Srila Prabhupada finally in the purport says that that will do only when we do that. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadhaiva Sudeshu Vilokayanti Yam Sham Sundaram Achintya Guna Sarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That Govinda, primeval Lord of who is Sham Sundara, Krishna himself, is inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So that Premanjana Churita, with the love, serve that Supreme Sham Sundara, who is in our heart. That Vasudeva was Sham Sundara. And with that, we can progress in further. We can go to the next level. And that progress has to happen, continuous effort. Like in a corporate world, we say that we need continuous improvement. So it's not that I should be stagnant. Sometimes we may feel that I'm in practicing 20 years, 25 years, I'm not progressing. Sometimes it's true, sometimes may not be true also, we are progressing, because definitely it is progressing, because we are daily chanting, we are daily doing sadhana. Definitely there is a progress. In one of the Prabhu, give an example, like when aircraft flies in the beginning, it goes straight. But when it reaches 30,000, in the up, then goes straight. That time, the people inside the aircraft may not realize that aircraft is going. Similarly, initial stage, we may go very fast, look like very fast. But after some time, we are going because we are doing sadhana daily. It's not that, progressing. There is definitely progress in that. But the point I'm trying to make is that progress, we have to do little more rigorous, little more kind of accountable. We should understand where I am yesterday, where I am going further. That progress has to happen, like here mentioned, different stages of sannyas. So we are not saying that we should take sannyas today, or I'm saying, but as a grahasthas, we should improve our consciousness to one level to next level. That's the endeavor has to happen. That's the point I'm trying to make. The continuous endeavor, continuous effort should happen. Then we can take the next level. So we can support each other. We can take help of our seniors. How we can progress further. What else I can do? Like Raghunath Goswami, he was, how he is offering obeisance to other Vaishnavas. So in one of the lecture, Prabhupada says that just by serving your fellow Vaishnavas, Krishna will be pleased. So like that, there are quite a lot efforts, simple process given. So, with that, we can definitely progress further. So I think 8 o'clock now. So just to conclude today's discussion, the first point Srila Prabhupada brings out is that sense control, how the three sons of Priyavrata control their senses and fully surrender to that Paramhamsa, and actually fully afraid of material existence. With that mood, they surrendered, and they realized that that Supreme Lord Paramhamsa in their heart. And Prabhupada talks about different levels of sannyasa, Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parvikacharya, and Paramhamsa. And finally, he says, and Paramhamsa is the one who will completely control the senses and engage unalloyed services. Our service to Supreme Lord should not be uninterpreted and should be always. So that mood serve. And finally, we discussed the glories of Ramananda Rai, how he was such a, externally looks like serving, in the material world, like a governor, but internally, how he was fully surrendered and fully controlled the senses. Even he was personally, dressing, giving bath to young, beautiful girl. Actually, in one place, Prabhupada says that girls were so comfortable they were not even felt anything he is a man, because that is the point. So he was fully surrendered. Same pastime we can see here, how Sukadeva Goswami started walking, and when the girls were taking bath, Sukadeva Goswami, a 16 years old boy, and naked, Vyasadeva is coming behind. But when Sukadeva Goswami goes, these girls did not cover themselves. They were just continue to take bath. But when Vyasadeva comes, they cover themselves. So when Vyasadeva asked, so, he's a young man, I'm old. But the young girl says, he has not tinge of sex desire. So they can realize it. So that's why here, Sripada Ramananda Rai, so such exalted person, again, we can take lessons from them. And we also discussed how Raghunath Goswami, externally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him to serve his parents, but finally he was fully renounced. And how we can see the last stage, how he is fully surrendered to Supreme Lord, taking level next renunciation complete, is a renunciation personified. So that going to level, and finally how he taken full shelter of Supreme Lord, we can understand from this. So with this, I'll stop here. Devotees can share their points. If I made any mistakes, please forgive me. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you very much for a wonderful class, especially emphasizing, the importance of self-control. We being grihasthas, especially myself, is one area where I need to constantly endeavor and improve myself. Thank you, Prabhuji. You quoted beautiful examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita and also from Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastime of Sukadeva Goswami, how they were all elevated personality, and also you issued a disclaimer and caution notice that we should never attempt to imitate them, but whereas look at them at the inspiration level and gradually progress from our level. So thank you, Prabhu. It was a very nice learning for us. Devotees, I have unmuted the line. You may please share your comments or questions that you may have.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Very nice, Prabhu.
Dandavat Mataji.
Which is the sloka you quoted from Shadgok Swamastakam, Prabhu?
That is Prabhupada quotes here. 1 second. Which one I said? No, it's Shadgoswami, not Shadgoswami Mastakam. It's Chaitanya Charitamrita, right?
You were telling about the 6 Goswamis.
That's in the purport. 1 second. Which one did I say? Forgot. Prayen Alpa Shuklo Vijanaha Mandasaman. I think I quoted from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyway, I'll remember and let you know, Mataji.
Sure. Thank you.
Forgot quickly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat, Prabhuji.
Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu.
Yes, Sachitanya Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I had one question. You mentioned about, when we are in office, we should give our 100%, right?
Yes.
But what happens is effectively we keep on giving 100%, but it is never ending. It never, it is always, it is never ending. For how long we will give 100%, and what is when we should come out, basically, because we try to give 100% effectively. See, after say, if I consider my past, say 1 year or 2 years, I could not give much time for reading or other spiritual activities compared to what I have given to the office. So see, I try to stay positive and see, yes, I should do 100%, give very good this thing. But what happens after, if I look back, I have lost time in giving, all the time I have given to office. And, in that effectively time is gone. So it's like a catch-22, Prabhu.
So the point is that when we say give 100%, devotees or the materialistic people or the outside, they should not think that because his ISKCON devotee is not performing, because that will give a negative kind of impression about ISKCON. That is why, you have to, whatever you're doing, do it 100%. At the same time, we should set their expectations right. Many times corporate world, what happens that if you do 2, they expect 4. If you 4, they expect 8. That's what happens. But set the expectation. Okay, like I will work this time to this time, I will do this one only. Set that expectation right. Then within that expectation, whatever is set, do it. Don't go beyond that. As you rightly said, yes, time is required, 8 hours, 10 hours maximum, not that 18 hours, 20 hours, that will impact your sadhana. So, that expectation has to be set, which maybe personally, I used to do that many times when the boss says, I used to say, sorry, yes, I cannot do that. My work time is this much, I will do that. Then he put somebody else there. But whatever given to me, yes, this is what task I'll do, that's it. So that's what I'm trying to say, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanush Pranams.
Hello, Gauranga Prabhu.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu, with wonderful, very practical examples as well as which are taken across from various, from Chatisatam. Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanapram. Neminath here.
Neminath Prabhu, Dandavat.
Thank you for wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I want to just ask, you told beginning Ramananda Rai is Arjuna, but who is in one of the Ashtasikis, Prabhu?
I don't know exactly. I don't know, maybe Lalita or Vishaka. I don't know exactly. It's one of the Ashtasakya that I know, but exactly I don't know who is it.
No, they said it's Vishaka, no, Prabhu.
Yeah,
Ramanand Rai. Vishaka.
Yeah, combination of Vishaka.
Yeah, true.
But you said Arjuna, no, Prabhu.
Also said that is Arjuna.
Okay.
I mean, because of the discussion they have, is also mentioned that is Arjuna.
Hare Krishna. This is Ashokatma Vasudev Das Prabhu. Prabhu, in our lecture, you told me that we can continue to execute whatever regular duties, day-to-day activities, where we are involved. But as Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam tayapa hurta chetasam vyavasayatmaka buddhihi samadhavana vidiyate. So how to reconcile this, what is the stage at which, we can completely renounce, or how is it? Because our activities, unless and until we put a full stop, it will not stop, because we continue to be in the vicious circle of that activities. So what is the solution for this?
See, again, it's case by case, it changes. It's not that we cannot generally, Prabhupada says a 50 years person, Grihastha should retire, generally. But we have to see our own life, how our family, how is the financial situation, all those things. And again, we're not starting at 50. We have to start well in advance. Maybe at 25, 30 years itself, we should plan for retiring. Then, yes, we can plan it. So we have to plan everything. We cannot put a full stop one day. It has to go gradually, step by step, without we are feeling that, I'm kind of retiring. That's a process we should follow. Then it'll not impact. Otherwise, all of a sudden, if you do it, it will disturb even other family members and yourself also. So we need to have when we migrate from our kind of corporate world to spiritual work, we need to have a gradual process. I should take, step by step activities in spiritual, and slowly, one by one, give up in material things. At the same time, manage your finance nicely, so that our future is, in that perspective. Of course, we fully surrender to Krishna, then we don't have to worry, but we cannot fully, kind of do that when there's family, other members are there. We need to take care of that. So plan it individual case by case, think and do it, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sudarshan Rajesh.
Yes.
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much for the wonderful class. I like the analogy which you have shared about the aeroplane, how we progress. Initial days, we feel like we are flying at a good pace, but afterwards we will be stagnant and making progress, but we will not be able to realize because we are moving at a constant pace. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice analogy.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
One last comment or question, otherwise we can end today's session.
Yes, bro. Thank you for tolerating me.
It's a pleasure to hear from you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, I think we can end today's session with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpata rubhyasya kripa sindhobhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namo.
Ritra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you once again for very nice class.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
I will end the Zoom session now, and we will meet again tomorrow morning at 7:15. Krishna willing. Hare Krishna devotees.